Out here, but not there.
Okay, hi everyone. It looks like we are live. Could
It looks
someone
like it.
could someone prove that to us that we are actually live?
Maybe you.
Maybe Hugh. So it looks like we are live here as well. So we will wait a couple of minutes for people to join, and I will make sure to. So we are streaming on both channels.
Mhm.
So making sure that
I don't see anyone yet. So happening now. I didn't get notification that you go live for some reason. I should have, right?
yeah, so we are testing it. Just stay with us, and if you see us, please wave. We want to make sure that we are actually live.
Oh, it says Luba is live
Okay.
now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so
Okay.
Yes,
please wave. We want to make sure that we are actually live.
Yes. Okay, so Lana joined. That's good. Okay, so let's start.
Okay.
Because who is joining later, there will be a recording.
Yes. Okay, so I think we'll start just with introducing ourselves because it's our first venture together. Not in a real sense, but kind of.
Yeah. This is like our first webinar, our first online webinar we do together. So we have done a lot of stuff separately, but now this is our union.
Baby, yes. Do you want to start with introducing yourself?
I think you should start.
Okay, I'll start. So I'm Lana. I'm originally from Russia, St. Petersburg. I'm not going to go into all my biography. The main thing I want to say is that I'm really, really actually excited to do this work. I've been doing this already, but what Luba and I are doing is a little bit different. And so we'll talk more about this. But first of all, I wanted to kind of release where I am emotionally. And emotionally, I'm excited, a little bit nervous, like, oh, how do we look there? We have this nice views behind, no one can see. We're going to talk about the workshop and we're going to talk about some really good things. But on the other hand, I'm also, I have this, I feel in a way confident that this is something really good happening. I have a good feeling about this. So I've done this work. I just want to say a couple things because we want to make sure we have all the material that we're going to share, that we have enough time for this. So one thing I want to share is that, so Luba and I will be doing a little bit different work. We are together in the same path, but each of us has taken a different section of what we want to work on. And I will talk a little bit about my right now.
And then I will talk about my part. Yes.
So basically, one of the things that, this is an orgasmic workshop, and Luba will talk more about why it was named like that, what is, why is it important? So orgasmic workshop is, of course, is not to have an orgasm necessarily, but rather to have an orgasmic life. We will cover different parts. So we're going to focus on two different areas. One is I will focus on talking about heart chakra. And the reason why I, been really guided for the last 15 years to take that on a journey. Every time I look back, I always remember how heart was so important to me. And just more recently, over the last 15 years, I've done a lot of work on myself. As I realized I've been going through, 2 unsuccessful marriages. I couldn't cope have a successful relationship. And I realized that I really need to step up in the areas of, especially my heart. And what it was that when we talk about energy, sex, and we talk about heart, right? So what happens that our second chakra is interconnected with everything else, and our heart chakra is interconnected with everything else. So what happens is, what I notice about myself, that even though I had some great partners in my life, I had a tendency after a short honeymoon, basically start shutting down. When the partner would disappoint me, I would kind of be more focused on things that they didn't do right, things that I could not forgive, or I wasn't willing to forgive. If there was anything to forgive at all, we'll talk about that. And so I noticed that as I was shutting down, it really impacted not only my relationship with my partners, with my ex-husbands now too, but it also impacted how my sex life unfolded after that. Because the longer I kept my resentments, and the longer I spent time in a place of being upset and looking for the reason in another person instead of going within, the longer I stayed dissatisfied, unhappy, and I really couldn't find my way out. So I've known for a while that I have to come up with good routine, what I need to do energetically. But only recently I have discovered things that can really shift what's happening in my life. And I'll talk about this later, because I would like Luba now to talk about herself and her part, like the general part.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself.
Yes.
I love to listen it again and again. It's very inspiring.
Thank you. And I love your sparkling eyes.
Thank you. These lights work great.
I know. You have all these things set up.
And you should remember to take picture of us.
That's right.
Hopefully he's hearing it right now.
I know. We don't see you.
So for me, my big passion is sexual education. And I want to briefly to tell why I have this passion. That when I started my sexual journey, it wasn't all very cool and wasn't very enjoyable. So after having my first not very successful sex experience, I created this story for myself that sex is not for women. And then when I tried to talk to my friends, like people like, oh, like people don't talk about this stuff. So I just lived with this idea that like sex is only for men. And as a woman, I have to somehow struggle through this. And then only later when I started looking for like information and I explored everything I could. Suddenly, like when I experienced, oh my God, sex is so enjoyable. And then I wanted to learn more about it and like share with people. So I went all the way to Thailand to learn about what Dao masters teach about sexuality. And then I did all the like Tantra work. And now I'm part of Human Awareness Institute with deepening into healing sexuality. And I just see how many people just have this some shame around sexuality, and it breaks my heart. I want to bring it out there that sex, if we learn about it, if we like when something doesn't work, like that's why I'm like bothering my friends asking like, how is your sex life, like how was your sex yesterday, like if it was great, awesome, tell about all the cool things you did. If it's not good, or if you don't have sex, let's talk about it as well and discuss the struggle and maybe figure something out. So later I will talk more about my discoveries and how we can raise the sexual energy, how actually sexual energy we can use for just like so many things, not only for sex, that it's very powerful part, we just don't need to suppress it. So that's briefly about me, and I will talk more later.
Okay. All right, so let's do anything. So I'm still seeing you here, and so basically I don't see anyone else, but hopefully Hugh is there. So hi, Hugh.
We keep checking on you, Hugh.
Yeah. So someone posted, and I just want to. They said, are there technical difficulties? The video still has no sound. Oh, really? How is that the video has no sound? Technician. Okay, so that's not good, but let me see. Is your sound on? So forgive us, everyone.
Yeah, we do just like a little pause to check the sound.
Okay. So the sound should be on. And it would be great if someone will give us any feedback, because that wouldn't be good if we recorded with no sound. It's sound. Okay, good.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Okay, so it should be sound. So anyone who asked, there is definitely sound. So let's now talk. I want to make sure that we keep track of time, that we have each, equal amount of time.
Yes.
So what I want to start with is I kind of had a little bit gate, and do you need to check something?
So you please go ahead, and I will check. Like, I received some people say that there is like no stream in here, so I will check this side.
Okay.
And I will be back soon.
Okay.
While you tell about your
Okay,
part.
that sounds good. Okay. So you can also get you as well.
Mm-hmm.
But so one thing I want to start with is to talk about, why is this important even to talk about energy? I do a lot of workshops almost on a daily basis. And what I noticed is that the topic can be very different. The topic can be managing your stress life, building your resilience, emotional intelligence. It can be organizational development, but no matter where, or communication skills, but no matter where I go, what I usually face is that people know a little bit of everything or some things, and basically they don't really, they don't have, number one, they don't do much with what they know. So, for example, some of the things that I would be talking about today are common sense, and some of them not. But even if it's common sense, people often do not use. They basically don't use what they know. And I want to give you a little bit more information. Why are we doing this webinar and what is going to be covered in the workshop? Because I was inspired out of all the trainings that I've gone, out of all the things that I've basically put facilitations, retreats together, put workshop together. I spoke in different conferences, but I always see the same patterns that which reminds me that we cannot take it for granted how conscious or unconscious we are in the daily life. What does it mean? So when we talk about energy, we all use energy, and we're all aware of energy, and everything is energy, right? All the physical matter is energy as well, that now quantum physics tells us. Prior to that, the science told us otherwise. But what I would like to share is the information from one of the books of David Hawkins, who was a PhD and MD, and he's done a lot of work on finding the ways of measuring our energy. So he noticed that, for example, when people have a lot of negative thoughts, that he found the way to measure that people have low energy level. And so basically it can be tested when you can hold the person has to be in a very good place. You hold your hands down and you think negative, you hold your hands up and you think negative thoughts. The other person will try to push on your arm. And you will notice that if the other person, in a good place where they actually are not in a fearful place, you might notice that when the person is thinking negative things, you would have to push on the arm with much ease, and you'll be able to push it down. However, if the person is thinking loving thoughts, like, for example, if I propose that they will think about the pet they love, the baby they have in the family, someone that they dearly like and they have no judgment against, when I mention about that, and they do the same exercise, I actually would have a hard time pushing on their arms, and their arms would be staying very, very strong. So David Hawkins developed what he calls the scale of consciousness, where you can measure your consciousness based on emotions you feel. In short, there are only two emotions, love and fear. So anything that above love, above acceptance. It can be love, it can be joy, it can be feeling exuberant, it can be feeling inspired. Anything above 200, this is where our energies expand. And anything below 200 is where our energy contracts. So what does it mean? So I want to give you specific examples. For example, think about some negative experience that you recently had, negative exchange with maybe coworker or family member. And when you, maybe it has to be strong enough. So when you feel that, or you have some judgment about someone, when you feel that emotion, and then it turns into feeling, you can notice that your body is kind of not feeling so good, that you might have a little feeling in your stomach or in your heart and uncomfortable. And you will notice that your energy is going, you're feeling lower. So to compare with, let's think about something that you recently had a really, really good day, and your day was just simply amazing and everything has gone really well. You started your day in the right way and everything went right. And you see this coworker that bothers you, and that coworker was nothing to worry about today, just because you were feeling so good. Nothing was different. So you were expanding and you were basically giving to others. You were giving love. And so the key is, right, there are two different emotions and they vary. So when you look at the scale of consciousness by David Hawkins, the lowest emotions can be apathy, fear. Anger is a little bit high on the scale, because if you notice, when you feel angry, you have much more emotion, much more energy in your body. From that place of energy, it might be a step to climb up in order to take an action on what you want to do with your life, right? So that's one thing. So basically, we have energy and we either contract or we expand. And we always have a conscious choice of where we go. The second thing I want to talk about is that now we often think, especially when I go and present to other people, we often think that our life is because our circumstances are a certain way, and that's why we are not feeling good. But it's actually upside down thinking. It's we do not see life in expanded way because we don't feel good. So the key is to basically focus focus on how to raise your vibration. What are some of the things that you can do for yourself, that how you can on a daily basis really create the space from which you can let go of judgments. You can let go of things that don't work. You can let go of interference in your life. For example, sometimes when things are go my way, I'm very happy and I'm inspired. But when someone knocks on my door that I didn't expect, I have resistance. Resistance is a form of fear. So when we experience any kind of resistance, that's a form of fear. And basically, you kind of notice that when you feel fear, you contract. When you feel love and you let things go, you expand. I don't do this for others. I have to admit, I'm pretty selfish. I'm doing this for myself because I want to feel good, because I know from that place, I see other people from the lenses of love. I can see them and I can feel compassion. I can feel good things. But one thing I want to say is that do not be discouraged when you experience disempowering emotions. They are part of life. There's always dark and light, right? Even when I grow my plants at home, they need dark and light. I need bad and good experience because I often learn from bad experiences that sometimes when I make a mistake about how I communicate with my son or do something, I really feel compassion for myself after I got over the judgment. And I feel more compassion to others when they misbehave. because I know how difficult it can be for me. And I'll tell you a quick example, just give you to demonstrate the point. I have a 26-year-old son that is grown up, and, he came out the way that he came out. He has good things that I love, and he has things that I don't like. And the same about me. I'm sure he can say, hopefully it's half and half. And so what happened is, I've been learning more and more. I went back to school to get my second master's in psychology, and I'm learning all these things about parenting and energy and the higher self and all that. And I'm thinking, what if I only was given a chance to do my parenting again? I could have done such a better job. And here it goes. You ask and you shall receive. My partner has a little grandson named Elijah. So he comes over, and I'm engaging him and painting and gardening, and all these things go good. But his little one, he's only almost 5. He doesn't have much patience. Like he can't paint for 2 hours. He's saying, Lana, why does it take you so long? Let's do something else.
I understand him so much.
Yes, because you have a 1-year-old.
Yes, and I don't have patience at all with anything in life.
Yeah. So here I am. I asked for a chance to be a better parent with better skills. I know so much, right? So here I am, a conscious human being, right? But conscious mind is only 10 to 16% in our, basically, we only have, our conscious mind is only 10 to 15%, right? So here I come, conscious, I want to do well. And here this little guy, and he pushes my buttons, right? I still love him, but I ask him to help me and do something. And then he turns and he said, I'm not a maid. I'm like, what? What did you say? You said you're not a maid? Like, I'm in horror, and I'm in reaction instantly. Like, I don't even have time to be a good parent anymore. I totally forgot all my skills. So the reason I'm talking about expanding and contracting right now, to demonstrate that if I was in a place of really prepared to spend time, if I was present to be with this little guy, I would teach him the choices. Like, yes, you can be upset right now that you don't want to go to bed, but then you can choose that. You can choose be upset. But then there is another choice. I can read you a book, or we can do something fun together, and you don't have to be in that place. So I totally forgot I can empower this little guy, right? So because I'm driven by subconscious beliefs and attitudes. So according to, and I'm watching time, according to positive psychology, 50% of our happiness, and we are talking about inner happiness, is defined by our DNA, your mom and dad. My mom and dad, right? So if you're anyone like me, we are not very happy people. I have to work on my happy muscle very hard. 10% of our happiness is defined by outside circumstances, your social economic status. But 40% is defined, what do we do on a weekly and daily basis to generate and cultivate our happiness. So what we're going to do in the workshop that we're going to talk a little bit later about, that we're going to teach you the tools, what is your way? How do you connect with your heart? What is the place that makes you blossom? What's the place that inspires you? What's the place that when you do this, you are who you are? Not someone with some limiting beliefs. Someone believes someone else said that you are not. Who you are, because when we are in that place, we're in the flow, whether we paint, run, do gardening, whatever we are, right? The reason why we are not there most of the time, just to give you a little bit more metaphysical information and science as well. So 2 things. Number 1, in our culture, in every culture pretty much, as long as we are not conscious about how we live our lives, we are trained to close our hearts. So this is what I did in my marriages. Every time things didn't go my way, instead of working on how did I respond to that? Why did it bother me? What have I done? What can I do different? What my limiting belief was that got me to that emotional place. Instead of doing this, I thought my ex-husbands need fixing. And that's the only thing I wanted when we went to counseling, that, my ex would be told that he needs to live his life in a different way and he needs to get his act together. But it was all good because it's all part of the experience. Later on, I realized that I'm responsible for what I created in my life. And I have an input as he has an input. So what happens in our life, we experience often when we are children, when we are little, some things that our parents don't really mean to do. So for example, like with this little guy, Elijah, I told him to go to bed. And I was using my Russian thing to tell him to go to bed. There is no way you're going to be, right? So no, I am the boss and you're going to do what I want you to do. Would it be another way to do it? Absolutely. I forgot about it because I was so triggered. So let's say, take the worst case scenario with this little guy. I hope that's not going to happen because I give him a lot of love otherwise. But let's say I was that person who hurt him in the moment. And he decided that he's not safe around me. He needs to protect himself. And every time when he's around me from now on, he's going to start to be whatever I want him to be. He's not going to be who he is. He's going to be who I want him to be. That means he's not going to be in touch with any of his emotions. He's going to please me. Or he might actually be on the opposite side. He might trigger me and just choose to be the guy that gets all the attention, right? The key is, as long as he doesn't process those emotions that are negative as perceived, he cannot really have a lot of experience, basically be in a place of joy and happiness, right? Because recently I realized that I'm actually pretty good dealing with negative emotions. I do all the work. I go, I dig down, even if I'm upset with another person, I'm like, why did it upset me? What do I need to do? How this person is my teacher? How can I learn? How can I create and recreate this relationship? And I can make it happen. What I'm not so good is experiencing a positive emotion for a long period of time. So let's say for longer than 5 minutes, right? And we can try it today because I also want to do the meditation if we have time. But I also want to kind of shift to you by now. There are many, many other things I want to share that, I haven't shared, and how they experience, how, for example, emotion is different to compare with the feeling, because we use this interchangeably. Where does it come from? Where does emotion come from is very different from where the feeling comes from. So the key is to be able to experience emotion and let it go, because emotion is instinctive response to your past experiences. And if you just let it go and release, things gonna be fine. There is nothing else to worry about. But your feelings are based on our past experiences. So if your experience is negative over time, and think about this, you might be feeling that you're a very positive person. But we did this test with my partner, Hugh. One day I noticed that he often says, swearing words as part of his lexicon. And I don't like it, but I have my own things that are not necessarily as empowering. And I said, let's do a gratitude jar. Every time when we go in the negative, let's put some quarters in the jar. Every time. That jar was filled up within a week. It was really, and we are considering ourselves very aware. We always learn something, always do something. We meditate, we have practices, spiritual practices, and I could not sustain being positive. So I started to work on that. And so I would share in the event what are some of these things and how science tells us, how it benefits us, how when we are teaching our heart intentionally to experience positive emotions, not only it enhances our life. Not only it enhances what we want, not only it enhances our sexual life, because they are connected. If I don't have any resentments, I'll be loving, while making love to my partner. If I have some judgment against him, it's going to stand on the way. I'm not going to be able to do it. So we have to work with both the sexual energy and the heart energy. And it all comes together. So we'll talk about the workshop. Right now, I want to make sure that I allow Luba enough time. And so I had about 20 minutes. So we kind of,
You did awesome.
Okay.
And I'm listening, like people listening, I'm listening as well.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking that this is all very good information, what you're telling, how to practice it,
Mhm.
like how to actually apply it in life. And this is like, we will talk later about orgasmic energy workshop, but actually at the workshop we will not be talking only. We will talk a little bit.
Yes, we will
but
be
we
doing
will
a lot of
practice it.
experiential exercise.
Everything, yeah. And right now I would offer to do the exercise, a little exercise that you prepared.
The meditation?
Yes.
Okay.
To feel it.
Okay. So what we'll do a short one, because Luba also has one, but it would be good if we can just get in the place of a little bit of a music, and I will guide you through the meditation. It's not the full meditation. We'll give only a couple minutes, but just to see, whether you can get in that space. So since we don't see you, it would be, I assume it would be safe for you to close your eyes, because we're not looking at you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the music on and start slowly. So sit comfortably in your chair. It's always better if your back is straight and erect. So it's important because, first of all, it's out of respect to ourselves, to your higher self, to who you are. And then slouching just doesn't feel energetic. And second is, our energetic centers are better aligned when we are in a place of having the back straight. And thirdly, you're not going to fall asleep. So start breathing. And start breathing a little bit slower than normal. It's important that we stay sitting, so we are not standing up. So sit straight. And continue with your breathing. On your breath in, imagine that you are breathing the light in. You're breathing good energy. On the breathe out, just imagine that you are giving that energy to others, to the one that you love so much in your life. Your children, your pets, your cats, your dogs. And just continue to breathe slower. And I'll explain later why it's important. So breathe in and slowly breathe out. And it's really, really important to feel that your body is relaxing right now. It's good if you're sitting to keep your feet on the ground so you can feel centered and grounded. But if you sit on a different lotus position, that's okay. Try to focus your energy on being with yourself. As you breathe in, notice how the breath is, how the air is flowing through your body. how your chest expands. If you have a hard time focusing, you can put your hand on your chest, or even better, put your hand on your heart. Just touch your heart softly and breathe in your heart. Breathe through your heart. Feel your heart. Bring the memories when you feel really, really grateful. When you had a good experience with your lover. When your child first started to walk. When you got the job you wanted. When you saw someone who was so precious to you one more last time. Bring that experience in and feel it in your heart and stay with that. Stay with that experience. Breathe and feel your heart. When you touch your heart, you release oxytocin. And when you release oxytocin, it tells your mind that it's safe to love. It's safe to love others, and it's safe to be loved. And that's something that we will work on more. But right now, I just want you to feel that place. If you are able to go there for a minute or a second, just feel that place within. And keep breathing. The air is your connection. It's your connection. When you breathe slowly, when you feel good emotions, your heart opens up. You train your heart. Just stay with this for another minute. And we're gonna just slow down a little bit. And I abruptly finished it. I apologize. I meant to just slow it down. But when you're ready, open your eyes and just kind of be in that place. I notice that usually if I spend in that place about half an hour in the morning, when I really work on myself to just be in that place, just feel it, I notice how it makes a difference to my day. It's not necessarily the music that I meditate to. I would use a different music. But we all have a different way of connection. So that's kind of was one short way to show you, and that's not necessarily what we're going to do in the workshop, but one of the way to connect with your heart. So Lubachka, thank you graciously for all the time you allowed me for the
Thank
talking.
you for all the value you're bringing. And I feel a little dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
Like just feels good to drop inside.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I feel like more centered, more present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you, Lana. And now I'm going to transition into talking a little bit about sexual chakra. And when we talk where it's in our body, it's the lower belly, and the area like where our genitals are. So this is the energetic center, which we call sexual chakra, Svadhisthana chakra, or second chakra. This center is responsible for our desires, for our pleasures, how we can enjoy life, how we can just go through life and feel good about it. You probably notice that no matter what is happening outside, like you can have like great job, great partner, awesome kids, but there is the joy is not there. Like we always have to go after something, and then we have it. There is still like not this joy feeling. And there are other people who they don't have anything. Like you look at them, they just don't have anything, but they enjoy. And this is this their ability to like really enjoy it. It lives in our sexual chakra. And sex is part of this chakra. Supposedly, when we have sex, we should enjoy, right? And there are different experiences. Some people have really sad experiences. Some people have trauma. Some people experienced rape. Like there are different associations and a lot of shame as well in our society these days. So I want to talk a little bit about Dao masters, like Dao practices, the place where I learned a lot. The place that built Mantak Chia is the Tao master. He built a Tao garden in Thailand, one of the villages of Thailand, and it's a beautiful place. And I remember reading this Multi-Orgasmic Woman book, and he's like old master, he's 70 years old, and he wrote Multi-Orgasmic Woman, Multi-Orgasmic Man, Multi-Orgasmic Couple. And I thought like, okay, I should go to Thailand to learn more about sex. Like I really wanted, like when I figured out that sex is actually a great activity, I wanted more. I wanted to learn like how to receive more orgasms. Like, okay, like I'm going. So I flew to Thailand. I joined the class of Master Mantak Chia, and I was disappointed at the beginning because he was teaching about energy. And I'm like, what? I came here to learn about sex, and you're teaching about energy? Like, I could learn energy in some yoga class. And like, to me at that time, energy sounded like a bullshit word. Because like when they say that like you are doing like a yoga posture and then like you stretching and feel the energy flowing. And I was in this yoga posture. I'm like, what? Nothing is flowing for me. Like, what energy? So I came there anyways. I started like going to this like classes. Sometimes we had to wake up at 6 a.m. and the master Mantak Chia was teaching the microcosmic orbit when like he was explaining how every person is a planet, and then we learned to circulate energy. And like he's sitting on the stage and just circulating, and he's moving, and then he says, okay, go ahead and move it. And I look around, like some people like actually in this ecstasy, something is moving, other people like me just sitting and like nothing is happening. And then the Mantak Chia was moving around, and like he came to me and he just tapped me on the head, and booms, I felt it. I felt it's just like this, like orgasm in the whole body. It just landed on me, and I started feeling like it's moving. And oh my God, that moment I realized, oh, that's what energy, that's what they're talking about. And as well, I realized that when you connect the energy to sexual life, when they go together, it's just like blowing your mind, and it's amazing. Because what Lana said earlier, that how like when you connect it with your partner, when you connect heart to heart, there is energy going, and then it's like the sex will be enjoyable, like life will be more enjoyable. Like when energy is flowing, then it's a different story. So that was my experience, like how I learned about energy. And then the microcosmic orbit is something that again we will be tasting it, we will be doing it at the Orgasmic Energy workshop. Yes, it's an amazing. So as well, like when having sexual interaction, that it's a great practice to move the orbit, like to move it around body and like feel this energy in my body, and then to move it with the partner, and then feel like both with the partner we become one universe. So that's like just coming a little bit forward. I wanted to step back and really talk about how sexuality these days, it's so opened. Like you can see it everywhere. Like we have Playboy magazines, we have porn, erotica, like it's available. And at the same time, a lot of people have shame about it, and it's kind of a taboo. So it's like out there we can see like all this like parts of like people showing off, but then we still like even people who have healthy positive intentions towards sex, they still will find hard times talking to their partner, like asking what they want. Just like it's okay to ask someone like, oh, could you rub my back? Oh, my back is like paining. Could you like rub it? Thank you. But then to ask your partner to rub privates, like to rub genitals, that's like, ooh, like no, like no one is talking about that, like in like majority of people.
I'm not sure about rubbing. Yeah.
like I'm just exaggerating, right? But just to tell a partner like what you want from like your interaction. So I remember again when I started my sexual experiences, like someone will go down on me, and they didn't do it how I wanted. So they didn't reach like those points which I really enjoy, and I didn't feel comfortable to tell them that like, hey, could you take to the left or to the right? So I will just like struggle through this. And then like I remember just having emotions like being angry, like being so upset, like why are you doing it wrong? And then I'm feeling that like long time passed, so it's already like time for me to have an orgasm. But I don't feel like having orgasm. I'm not even close because I'm not getting it the way I want.
You're upset.
Because I'm upset and I'm not getting it the way I want.
Yeah.
So and then I will fake an orgasm, you know, and that's how like. That's how we get to like faking orgasms. Like it's more like relates to women. And then in this, the Tao masters, they really look at sex, at like sexuality is something that it can be a medicine. That like people who have good, enjoyable sex life, they're healthier, and they even look at sexuality as a branch of medicine. Like for example, when you want like to cook a good food, like we need to learn nutrition, right? To make a healthy food, or to make it delicious, we need to take cooking classes. So same for sexuality. To have it really enjoyable and healthy, we need to learn how to do it. And there are like a lot of things that Tao masters teach about, like when like my first experience, and then after I learned all of these things, it's just a totally different experience, and it's like more enjoyable and healthy too. So I want to have everyone experience this like a little bit of meditation when we will move energy from our genitals. So how Tao masters explain that in genitals we have 25% of all energy. Like imagine if energy like different percentage placed for different organs, like to function. So for genitals we have 25%, which is a lot. And it's easy to explain because for nature, creating babies and like that we keep bringing more humans, that we keep life going. So they put a lot of energy in the sexual organs, that like we want to have sex, like even if we suppress it and we like decide like, oh, like no, we still have like this desire, and then when we don't like let it go, then this energy can be like transferred into more like negative emotions and like feeling unhappy. So over time, so yeah, like even when we are not having sex, like this energy that like we have in genitals, we have to release it. Like we can release it, we can move it for some other, like we can do other things with it, you know, like we can actually get use of it. And then when we are having sex, very often, like for majority of people, it's just genital orgasm that we feel specifically in our genitals, and then the energy released. It's like poof. And then like we can feel tired, especially men can experience it after ejaculation, that it's like energy goes lower. So there are techniques to learn that like when we have orgasm to actually like take it in and spread it around, that like to recharge with that energy, to actually like this juicy good energy to like to reuse it. So there are like different scenes like how we can operate with energy. And like when I learned about it first time, it was just like, really, like why no one teaches it at school? Like we have to know
So
it. Like
sweet.
come on, human beings, like we need to learn this information, because when you start doing it, like you feel differently in life. You feel happier, you enjoy life, you are healthier, and it's just like we should not just like close up our sexuality, we need to do something with it. So coming back to this 25%, that like we have this amount of energy in our genitals. So we want, like now what I want to do, this short meditation, how we will transform this energy to other organs. So when we know that like, oh, like if I will have baby like next month, then let's keep this energy, like I will need it for creating a baby, this is how nature designed it. But if I know that I'm not having baby right now, or like I'm done with babies, I'm not having more babies, so then we need like to move this energy to other organs. Nature haven't thought about it, but we can do it, we can actually work on it, and like we can help ourselves to use that sexual energy. So let's do the meditation. So I want to invite you to gently close your eyes.
Oops, sorry. Sorry.
No.
What do you need this? To be loud
I don't
enough?
have the.
Oh, you
I don't
don't?
have the plug.
Oh, really?
I think it will
Okay.
be good enough. Yeah. So please close your eyes and just feel what is happening inside your body. I'm closing my eyes as well because I want to feel what I'm doing, what I'm telling. I want to feel it and to transfer it with my voice, to actually transfer this experience to you. So when you tune in, you will like really, really feel it. So please just find yourself relaxed and put your attention inside your body, and just notice how are you doing inside your body. We want to breathe. Let's take a couple deep breaths. To breathe it in and then breathe out. So when we breathe in, let's imagine that like there is bright light getting in the body, the whole body becomes bright. And then we breathe out that anything that is tension, any tiredness, any sadness, anything that we don't want, we just like let it out with the breathing out. Okay, let's do a couple more. And just put your attention inside body and really feel, how are you doing over there? What's happening? Are you doing good? You're happy, enjoying the moment? Maybe something is bothering you. Maybe you're not agree with something. Maybe you're upset. Maybe something is just like just dragging you down. Just notice what's happening and no judgment. It's all good. Just notice what is happening inside you. And if you have any thoughts, it's something you need to do, just imagine it's like clouds. They come and go. The thought came and it's gone. Came and it's gone. Just let them pass by. And keep breathing in the temp which is comfortable for you. And now move your attention to your genitals. Just attention. And feel how your genitals are doing. No matter you're sexual or not sexual, your genitals is part of your body and it has 25% of energy no matter what. So just keep your focus there, put your focus there and feel. Mm. And if it's comfortable enough, if you are private enough where you're located, just put your hands on your genitals very gently. Just with your hands say, hello, hello, my genitals, I love you. Hello, how are you doing? And if you chose to do it, just feel how it feels. Just gently, your hand touching your genitals. And keep breathing. And you can remove your hands so you can keep them if it feels good. And feel this warmth. Feel how your genitals are like very warm, just comfortable warmth. And feel this cloud of energy, whatever that means for you. Maybe you feel something is moving there, like blood is moving. Maybe you feel like some warm liquid is circulating. Maybe it's like a cloud. Just visualize something. Just picture this cloud of juicy energy. Ooh. And feel grateful for having this energy over there. And send a smile there. Smile to your genitals. And now with breathing in, move that cloud to your kidneys. Just breathe in and picture how it moved to your kidneys. And kidneys is a lower back. And now feel this warmth in your kidneys. Feel this cloud. The cloud, it just separated in two pieces and it went one piece for each kidney and it's covering your kidney. And just feel how good it feels, how wonderful it is. And smile to your kidney. They deserve a smile. And keep breathing. And now this energy moves to your liver. It's on the right part under your rib cage. Just feel how this cloud, warm, delightful cloud, how it's landed in your liver and it's nourishing your liver. And keep breathing through it. And smile to your liver. And feel how it's absorbing all the good energy. Ooh. And now move that cloud, that now it's one cloud, it all collected in liver, move it to the heart. And just feel how this cloud landed in your heart and your shoulders just opened up. Oh, what a wonderful feeling. Just feel this abundance of love. It's easy to love when you have a lot of energy. Ooh.
I have 2 minutes.
And from the heart, this, feel how this cloud became even bigger and move this cloud of energy to your brain. Just put it there and feel how with the energy, all your thoughts just melted down. Any thoughts that were present, they just disappeared and just all just melting and disappearing. And just feel how good it feels.
I'm a timekeeper.
And
so 1 minute.
Thank you, Lana. And take another deep breath. And take one more breath. And gently open your eyes. And so I have a homework for you that do this, what we just did when you have orgasm. And just instead of just like letting it fly out, just start moving it through your organs and then notice how you feel the next day. Yeah, so I'm done with my part, and we see that we are already 1 hour past, and we are going to tell you very quickly about the Orgasmic Energy Workshop that is coming up. So we have the workshop in Berkeley. So if you happened to be in Berkeley, worth checking it out.
If you're not at Berkeley, it's only 30 minutes from San Francisco.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are in Ukraine or, like then it, one day we will do it online. And the cost for workshop $200, it's $199. And today we are giving 20% discount for people who participated. And if you get inspired, you want more of this. So what we did today, we introduced like 2 parts that we are covering, heart chakra and sexual chakra, and we will dive into exercises focusing on these 2 chakras.
And it will be much deeper because we will build that energetic connection and trust in the workshop among the participants. And we will teach you specific techniques of how to work with both.
Yeah, and people who participated our workshop, they like in their feedback, they say that they feel just like so much energy, like some of them never felt it before and just so lifted up. So it's a nice atmosphere to just go drink that energy and then bring it applied to your life and like to learn techniques that like you can use later.
And so I think it's really amazing because we work with both, energetic centers, and we'll do also some fun things. I'm going to bring a device that measures your heart coherence. We're going to bring Buddha board. It's something like you paint on and it disappears. It's a very mindful activity that it's meditative. We're also going to bring some books on sexuality, and we'll play a game. We have a game that is safe. It's nothing risky. You'll go as far as it's comfortable for you.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very exciting. And I'm really, really hope that, you can come and share the space with us.
So one thing I didn't say, it's on April 20th. So it's on Saturday, which is not this Saturday, but next one. Okay. And the discount, the 20% discount that we are given, it will be for 24 hours. So here in chat, I will post a link and discount what the promo code is energy. So when you use this promo code, you will get 20% discount. So come join us, and it's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for everyone who is watching this. We are very happy to share it with you. If you didn't have chance to ask questions, please write it under the event, under this video, and we will get back to you with all the questions.
Okay.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
You. Okay, we'll see everyone later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that this one too.
And bye here too.
Bye. That one is not as good as this one, I think.